It's time for Sustainable Living with Glenn Boblitz, the show that helps you be prepared to care for your family regardless of the circumstances that may come your way. Now, here's your host for today, Mark Lamb.
Well, we're in the studio today with Glenn Boblitz as we try to talk about sustainable living made easy. Actually, we don't try, we succeed because Glenn succeeds. I'm just here to sort of help navigate and bring the commercials in and that kind of thing. But I always learn something, Glenn. And I'm wondering, what are we going to learn about today?
It's deer season.
Deer season, okay.
We've already had a couple deer harvested in my little circle, and we butchered them up. And other people are starting to butcher the hogs. That's a season's coming up, and and cattle, and so this is the time. It's starting to cool down. You feel pretty safe doing that. Cooler it gets, the better it is for butchering. I used to archery hunt quite a bit. It's just too warm. I just don't do that anymore. But we've got some facilities set up that we can cool the meat down, and then that's imperative.
Sure.
Get that cooled down as quick as you can. Well, I should say as soon as you can. Trying to cool something down really fast is not the best thing for that.
Can affect,
and we'll talk about that later, and it has to do with the quality of meat.
Got it.
If you're doing that, and most people today will take their deer to the local butcher. Well, last year,
butchers were backed up.
They were just backed up. Everybody's going, wow, what happened? Well, a lot more people are starting to hunt because they can't afford the beef. Beef is going through the roof.
Right.
Eggs are going to $5 a dozen.
Good night.
Well, all of a sudden, chickens are starting to look pretty good again. So, and a lot of people kill chickens this time of year too also. So if you have the ability to butcher that and cool that meat down, maybe an extra refrigerator or whatever, or a friend that has a little butcher shop, you better start contacting him. Get there early.
Okay.
Most people wait till the typical November rifle season to go hunting, but you may not get your deer in because they're already starting to say it's going to be a pack season.
Yeah.
A lot of people are butchering cattle who have never done it before. Now, they're not doing it, but they're purchasing a cow collectively.
Right, yeah, you own a 64th of it or whatever. Yeah.
Right, so, and they're doing it for economic reasons.
Well, and also you can bypass, can't you, some of the... I owned a 64th of a cow for milking purposes because we wanted fresh, milk.
Yes.
But you had to own a cow to be able to do that legally, so I had a portion of a cow that we paid for.
They've made it difficult for communities or family farms to share that kind of facility, and to be able to distribute it out. Now, the guy who raised that cow needs to be paid for all the investment he had.
Yeah, there's an upkeep.
And if you hand him that money, you just committed a crime, and the butcher committed a crime, and the farmer committed a crime. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it's silly.
This is our food supply here, folks.
And it's your government, too.
Yeah. So let's say that you have harvested deer, and some people say it's tough. Well, it's more than likely because you cut it up immediately and put it in the freezer and didn't give that meat a chance to age out and get rid of the rigor mortis. Now, when you hear the word rigor mortis, everybody goes, dead people. Well, that's just a natural process of the meat, and it's a chemical reaction that causes the muscles to stiffen up, and you have to age that long enough where that degrades and the muscles relax again.
Okay.
If you've ever killed any kind of hunted animal, in several hours that thing's stiff as a board.
Right.
It's not the most pleasant thing to try to skin one that's that stiff.
Sure.
That's just the way it is. That's just a natural process. So the idea of having a cooler, having a butcher shop, is that we're talking about cattle and standard butcher shops. They hang that meat for 7 to 10 days.
Really?
That's a pretty big animal.
In a cooler.
Now deer doesn't need to hang quite that long, but 5 to 7 days would be good for deer. And you've heard the term aged beef. Well, the longer that sits, those chemicals that cause that stiffness, that rigor mortis, have totally degraded, and now the animal is relaxed, the muscle tissue is relaxed. So when you cook it, it doesn't tense back up.
Okay.
On the flip side, if you just cut your deer up, immediately put it in the freezer, you pull it out, thaw it, the rigor mortis is still there.
Yeah.
Then you go to cook it, and you heat that up, and all of a sudden that thing draws up into a knot, and it's just like chewing leather.
Right.
It's not that the deer was tough.
Right.
It's you didn't have it a chance to age.
Sure.
So when you go take your deer to the butcher shop, you might want to ask, how long does this going to hang before you butcher it? Because if he does it immediately because he's trying to get them all in and out, your deer is not going to be as good as it should be. Now, he may say, well, if you pay me an extra $30, I'll allow it to hang that for. It's worth the money. Go ahead and do it.
Right.
At any rate. So deer season's coming up, butchering season's coming up. Do you have that plan? And I'm suggesting to you people that you start planning a little more aggressively than you have been. China just banned a bunch of materials that we use mineral-wise here in the United States for defense,
so
manufacturing.
They're not selling it to us, in other words.
They not only have restricted it, they've banned some of these things. So things are heating up worldwide, as you see. So if you want your family to be sustainable, you better step up your game. And that's what this show has always been about, is being sustainable. And now it's becoming more importantly. And Trump got an attempt on his life again.
Yeah, the second attempt. Things are unstable. You're right.
Unstable is just like not even a big enough word. I don't know what you want label you want to put on it, but
vicarious. I don't know.
Yes, and we're looking at our food supply again, and you take that information and you apply it to just your daily life, and it's getting worse, just worse all the time. So rather than panic or bury your head in the sand, that'd be even worse.
Right.
Which a lot of people are doing, and I wish you would wake up here, because eggs just went to $5 a dozen.
Right.
I mean,
and if you listen to the news, things are coming down. If you listen to the politicians, well, prices have stabilized. Okay, like after a hurricane, the water stabilized. But there's all kinds of debris out floating in the water. Those are destroyed homes, people.
Yeah.
It'll stabilize, but it hasn't. We might not see, 250 eggs anytime soon.
Well, the cost of getting that egg to you
has gone up.
Yeah. So darn good and well that that price is not going to come down.
Right.
Now, I do believe that they are manipulating the prices on gasoline and energy because it's an election year.
Yep.
Don't think that that's a good thing. That is just a false way of getting votes. That's all it is. It's a follow the money thing. They can print money, and that's the root of all of this.
Right.
They just print the money, give it to the Exxons and those, and say, here's your subsidy.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Just keep the prices low. And people look at the pump and go, okay, well, it's kind of stabilized here. It is nothing stable about it. So pay attention here.
Yeah,
folks.
I mean, you got to be smart and you got to be wise. And, you can't take things at face value anymore. If somebody tells you it's not raining, but, your gutters are gushing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's basically what's happening. And I'm just saying be smart, be wise.
All right, so let's say we'll get back to this deer season and your butchering, because it's all an economic thing on one side, and the other is just having good, safe food. My wife has gotten onto a website that puts out recalls. So when something is recalled at a store, it gives her a little notice. that thing dings almost every day.
Wow. Yes, that's not good.
That means your food system is not safe. Something is going on
Right.
in which we're getting 10 times the amount of alerts that we used to get.
Right.
Now, is that because we've had an influx of people that are not handling food properly? Probably.
Possibly, yeah.
Low quality employees, that's a definite. So your food system is no longer safe. I mean, that's horrible to say because, that sounds like fear mongering,
Well,
but it's not me doing it. I'm just reporting that
hey,
your food system is not safe.
We just reported within the last 2 weeks, Boar's Head, the top line expensive meats, the things that were going on in their Virginia plant was, Janet couldn't even mention it on our program. It was so disgusting.
There's 11 people died from that one?
Yes.
Died, not just got sick. No,
Right.
This is serious stuff.
So I think, while companies try to survive, obviously some of them are cutting corners,
Okay,
which means
who's in charge of that? Who's in charge?
the FDA, a federal government, what do they call it? The 3-letter agency.
Right. So anything that has a 3-letter agency is doing a horrible job.
Yeah.
You don't want to throw rocks at one side or the other because
Right.
I think it's all just fouled up myself.
Well, they become so bloated, and
they're
they're not effective anymore, it seems.
and we got off subject again. But
I'm sorry.
How easy is that?
It's not hard, I'll say that much.
But the whole point of this is to be able to take food and prepare it yourself.
Yeah.
Even if you're not doing this, finding other people that are. 'Cause
Right.
one day you may need to do this, like real soon.
Yeah.
Butchering. There's a lot of small farms, especially in Bedford County, that do their own butchering, that kind of stuff.
Right.
If you hear about it or hear one of these classes that are being given, by all means go. Just to know how these people do this
Right.
skill.
Sure.
We talk a lot about skills and butchering and preserving food. Those are one of them, and they're pretty darn important. So if you're hearing about them, go say yes. I'll go help you. Now, if you've never seen it done, it's not the most pleasant first 30 minutes of that, but
Sure.
it's just part of the process. It happens every day. It's not like something odd
Right.
And the animals are killed humanely and at the butcher shop and hunting. A good shot and they're gone.
It's done, right.
So don't wig out on it. Go and see it.
Right.
Then you'll know where your food is coming from, and you'll know how it's handled. Now, these huge slaughterhouses, they don't handle things as cleanly as what you think. They really don't. So a local farmer, because the farmer's wife is in the background going, that's my food too.
Right.
She has an investment
Good
in
point.
that food. Well, I'm telling you, you want to get a woman mad, you do something wrong to her steak, and she's going to get on you about it.
Right.
The cleanliness of these local shops is far above any federal facility. Guarantee it.
Yeah.
Any federal inspected facility, I'll guarantee it. Now, they try to do the best they can, but they can't because it's so large. There's too many pieces,
Right.
too much
Well,
volume of equipment.
Right.
There's no way that they can keep it clean.
Every person is a variable. You know what
Correct.
I mean? Every person is a variable because if you have a bad employee that's just slacking off, and, it's one thing to slack off, well, they didn't, wipe my one wheel off. It's another thing when you're talking about your food and
Correct.
somebody's slacking off.
So if you're going to do this or help someone do this, realize that you could have the same potential to contaminate the meat as these larger shops.
Yeah.
So cleanliness is huge. Sanitizers, bleach and vinegar to clean all your tables.
Right.
That's real important. And to do that, you would use chlorine bleach, a weak solution,
Right.
wash it off with the chlorine, and then do it with vinegar. And the vinegar changes the pH so drastically that the bacteria can't live. So that's the
okay.
purpose of those two. And those two together are as strong as any commercial sanitizers out there. So
Sounds like we ought to have a little supply of each one of those in our quiver.
I do. They're just things that you should have. And right now, vinegar is fairly inexpensive, but hard to make. We have made it.
Right.
It's just more convenient to purchase it now.
Sure.
Vinegar has gone down in percentage of strength. Did you know that?
I did not.
They went from 5% down to 4%. So if you're canning you don't pickles or whatever, that percentage of 1% loss will cause a contamination because the pH is not high enough anymore.
Wow.
So when you're buying vinegar, look for that 5% pH.
Okay.
Because it's strong enough to do that.
All right. That's a good word. We'll take a break here and get back to the butchering aspect, which is interesting to me. I know it's a difficult one to necessarily talk about if you've never done it or been part of it. We'll get Glenn to unpack that. Again, you're listening to Glenn Ballblitz, Sustainable Living Made Easy.
Get ready for a new soundtrack for your life. Doc Rock, Smith Mountain Lake. It's music that'll take away your troubles for a while.
That's what I'm talking about!
Wake up with Janet and Mark on the Morning Jam. They'll keep you informed and encouraged, and we all need more of that.
You say jam?
You're invited to be a part of the Doc Rock family, your feel-good station. Doc Rock, Smith Mountain Lake.
We're back with more Sustainable Living with Glenn Ballblitz. Be sure to look for Sustainable Living on Facebook for even more information and follow-up conversations with other members. Now, here's your host, Mark Lamb.
Glenn, before we went in the break, we were talking about vinegar and how the percentages have come down on the strength of the vinegar, and that could affect how you can. Let's talk about that for a minute, and then we'll go back to the butchering and taking care of the deer population. You thin it out for a reason, and of course the side benefit for us that love venison, we get to eat it during the wintertime and other times.
Well, they dropped that percentage so they could add water.
Okay.
And increase their profits. It's shrinkflation now.
Right.
If you bought a bag of sugar lately, it's no longer a 5-pound bag of sugar. It's 4 pound. But the price stayed the same.
Yeah.
I just purchased some fertilizer and grabbed a bag, and I said, how much are they? And, they said it was like $19. And I was like, $19? It hadn't gone up. And then I looked down, it was a 40-pound bag.
Right.
Not a 50-pound bag. But it was the same price. That's shrinkflation.
Yep.
But if you're not paying attention to that, you just go, well, prices are stabilized. Okay, well, the price may have been stabilized, but the quantity was not.
Right.
It's the same thing, folks.
Yeah.
So if they're going up by percentages of 20%, that's a 20% drop or close to it.
Wow.
You're going, that's not going stable. That is going out of control.
Yeah.
And that's just been in the past couple months. So, back to venison.
Yeah.
Venison compared to beef at $14 a pound for just some type of steak or a roast even.
Right.
My wife comes back from the grocery store. She says, you know how much this is this week?
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, you can't believe it.
Yeah.
Chicken is the same way. Chicken is getting real expensive. It used to be like $1.59 for leg quarters. Now $2.59. It's just out of control.
Yeah, that's
so
just...
we're getting more reasons to do this hunting again.
Yeah.
Well, if the economy gets really crazy, everybody says, well, we'll just go hunt deer. Well, that'll be everybody's idea.
Right.
So if you can get a deer early this year, I'd do it. We're real close to election time, and everybody's kind of go, I wonder what's going to happen then. I can't help you on that one because I have no idea.
Right.
They're shooting at the presidential candidates, and they're trying to put him in jail. And I'm thinking, this is not a good sign here, folks.
It's not.
What can you do to change all that? Not a whole lot, other than brace for impact. And
right.
that's what we're doing here. So we're bracing for impact. back to the actual butchering process. Now, there's two ways to age that meats to get rid of the rigor mortis. One is a dry aging,
Okay.
where you hang in the cooler. It has a certain humidity in the cooler, and some of the water is starting to dry it out, and that makes the meat more tender because there's not as much water for the rigor mortis. All that starts to come to the surface and sweat off.
Okay.
Then there is wet aging, which you just put it in a vacuum pack and let the rigor mortis, that chemical that causes rigor mortis, to degrade, and it'll still become tender, but it's kind of a bluish tint. And if you didn't know this, they colorize meat at the store because of this. That's called a wet pack, where they immediately butcher it up, put it in a vacuum pack, put it in the refrigerator for 7 to 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wet pack. Dry aged beef. You see that in restaurant advertising that. It's a much darker color. It'll almost be a wine colored. It's not bad. It is just oxidized on the surface. So don't panic when it looks like that. If you're dry aging your deer, still good. It's not going to affect the flavor. Wet packing tends to have a slight iron taste to it.
Okay.
So if you vacuum packed it immediately and put it in, it does have that stronger taste to it. It's not the deer, it's your packaging method.
Okay.
Some people claim it's actually a metallic taste. They don't know it's an iron taste, but it's an iron. But you don't lose as much water and that kind of thing. So that in a wet pack, you'll also get a liquid around your meats, which stops frostbite and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's what happens there. How do you know how to cut up a deer? You can go online and get these it's called a butcher's chart, and it'll show a cow in all its parts.
Right, I've seen those, yeah.
Yeah. That's a good thing to have. If you're going to do this and you go out, but I don't know how to cut it up, I don't know where the steaks come from, that chart will show you. There's so many good videos out there showing up cutting up and packaging beef.
Okay.
The Bearded Butchers, that one comes to mind. Them guys are really good. I don't know if you've ever seen them, but they do a good job at explaining and showing you what they're doing.
Okay.
Especially some of the cuts you may not have even heard about.
Okay.
You can get a skirt steak, which most people don't know what a skirt steak is. That's off the side meat or the belly.
Mm-hmm.
When you cut that's just a little flap of skin, but it's extremely tender.
Right.
And the Bearded Butcher said that's one of his favorite cuts because it's quick, easy, you know, sandwich type, stir fry, whatever you want to do.
Sweet.
But get a butchering chart. It's really good. If you want the full Monty, get a book.
Okay.
And there's one it's just as simple as can be. It's called Butchering, and it's done by Adam Dandorf, Dandorf. That's probably the best book I've ever seen.
Okay, in butchering.
Yeah.
And does that cover the full, like doing cows, deer, whatever?
It covers all the information that you need to know of why you do it this way. Mm-hmm. It talks about the rigor mortis. It does the technical end, and if you don't want that part, you just want the butchering part, go to the book.
Right.
But it has really good colorized pictures. It's not cartoonish.
Right.
It actually shows you how it's done. That would be well worth its investment. I think they're about $25, $30, but not only for your deer, if you're doing actual butchering, you may be raising a steer and just go, I'm going to raise it. I've got 2 acres. I'm going to put this cow out there for a couple months, fatten him up, and our family's going to do it, or our group is going to do it. We're going to have to do this. You're going to need to learn these skills because if crap hits the fan, let's face it, none of these places are going to be open. Mm-hmm. None of these butcher shops are going to be open. Why? Because they're going to be taking care of their family.
Right.
Nobody's going to work.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think there's going to be some disruptions over this election.
Did you say his name was Dan?
Dandorf.
Adam Dandorf.
Adam Dandorf.
Okay, I found, and you can find copies of this book in thrift books for under $25. Used.
You're just
versions.
not going to believe how much information there is. It's going to give you more information than you needed, but
Yeah.
you will be, if you study that book, you will be the expert in your neighborhood. I'll guarantee it.
Yeah.
And it tells you the whys and wherefores, and it talks a lot about sanitation, how to keep things clean, blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah. And so it's a real good thing to have. The actual butchering of an animal, or the slaughter part, I guess those two, let's divide that. Slaughtering is the animal's still on his feet, and you bring the hog in or the cow in, and you stun it or kill it, and then have to gut it out. Now, some people throw away everything that comes out of the inside of that animal.
Right.
That's a mistake, because the heart is very good, the kidney's very good, the liver's very good. But that's becoming a little more used than it used to be.
Okay.
Some of these local butcher shops that are actually like Triple Oak Farms, he's doing a huge business now. That guy has absolutely exploded because he has some of the best hog meats around, whether you're doing sausage or bacons or all that. He's doing it all.
Okay.
But he has to take his hogs to North Carolina because that's the only place close by that is USDA government inspected.
Okay.
Because you can't sell the meat unless it's been inspected.
Right.
So that's what he does. Now that costs him, and ergo his meat costs more.
Right.
So if you don't like the system in which we're operating in at these large box stores, and you don't trust the meat, this is how you do it. You go to the local butcher. Now, they bring that hog back, usually cut in half, hanging weight, and he butchers it up from there. Now, that he's allowed to do, but he's still inspected. His butchering facility is inspected, and they come and check on him. The health department, everybody in the world rolls through his place,
Right.
and it's got to be exactly clean. Now, his place is more closely inspected than these large slaughterhouses.
Right.
He has to pay for that. When they come and do that, he has to pay to have someone come and inspect his place.
Yeah.
And that's just an extra burden. And because he's a small operator, it costs you more. But in the long run, you're getting safer meat. You're getting better meat because this guy raises some of the prettiest hogs you'll ever see. And if you go onto his website, Triple Oak Farms, and look him up, he's all the time having pictures on his website. He has little videos where you can see where his hogs are. They are not wallowing in mud.
Right.
They are out pastured. Now, he does feed them some supplemental feeds, but they are eating like they should.
Right.
They're eating, the acorns out in the woods.
Right.
That's
Like it
just
was
the
all
type
designed
of
to do, yeah.
like it should be done. And for that, you should pay more because
Sure.
that guy was working his butt off 3 times as hard.
Sure.
And the quality of the meat will show up for you.
Yeah.
You go try him. Just look him up. Go try him. Forgot where his actual address is, but Triple Oak Farms. Look him up. Check his website out. Go visit his farm. He just did some big barbecue, free barbecue. I mean, he
Oh, wow.
he did a huge cookout, and it's to promote his business, of course. But he gave back to the community. Did you just hear what I said? Has your local big box store ever invited you to a barbecue?
Right.
I don't think they have.
Right.
Now, that's who you should be supporting.
Sure.
And guys just like him. Anybody that's growing your food locally are on your side. These people that at the big box store, they don't even know you.
Right.
And they're not set up to know you. I'm not saying that's bad.
Right.
I'm just saying that's just a business is set up for money only.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with you. These guys care deeply about you. They know your family. They know, that your family is over on the backside of Forest, and oh yeah, you come here all the time. Glad you're here.
Yeah.
Now, it used to be you could go to that local butcher shop and talk to the guy, and he'd talk about his family, and you talk about yours.
Mm-hmm.
That's community, folks.
Right.
When is the last time you've ever had a conversation with anybody behind the counter about something local, community-wise? You know, the Amish, everybody looks at the Amish and say, oh, they're a closed community. Well, I don't blame them.
Yeah.
And look how they work and operate.
Mm-hmm.
They help each other, and that's
Sure.
how they get done as much as they get done.
Right.
And they keep their little community humming.
Yeah, that's another aspect of what they do. That's
Now there's good in that, and there's bad in that. I like the little more freedoms of not being told that I have to wear blue jeans all the time or
Right.
whatever. But it's the principle.
Sure.
It's the community part that I'd want to take away out of that. That's a good thing, and they do their own butchering, and it's a sight to see when they kill hogs. They
Yeah.
may kill 10 or 11 at a time, and they distribute it out among their families.
sure.
That's what I want you all to start doing. There's not a farmer around here who wouldn't appreciate a hand on butchering day.
Yeah.
Even if it is just doing the cleaning part. Just keep these clean, keep that clean, keep the knives sharp, all that above.
Sure.
And usually you eat really well. If you go to
Right.
the family farm and on butcher day, you can believe you're going to eat well.
Yeah.
You may not eat the steak that he's doing because it's not ready yet, but
Sure.
Mama's always got biscuits going.
Oh, sure.
And that's just something I remember as a kid. It was an event that was well worth going as a kid. Oh yeah, butcher day, because there's half a dozen kids there also. So that's why I went as a kid.
Yeah.
But you worked while you were there, but it didn't seem like work.
Right. It didn't seem
It
like
didn't seem like work. 'Cause, extra hands help.
Well, I want to add to this before we wrap this up. There is 3 books that you can get on Amazon together. They packaged them, frequently bought together by the same author.
Yep.
And it is Butchering Chickens, A Guide to Humane Small-Scale Processing, Butchering Poultry, Rabbit, Lamb, Goat, and Pork, the comprehensive, and then, of course, the original one you mentioned, Butchering Beef, the comprehensive photographic guide to butchering. So you can get all 3 of those books for $53.92 on Amazon.
That's how I did it.
Yeah.
I did buy all 3 of those.
Yeah.
And though I grew up in this, you forget some of it.
Yeah, sure.
And it's just a good refresher course for me.
Yeah.
As many times as I've done it, I go, wow, I forgot all about that. Especially like chickens.
Right. Once again, that man's name is Adam Danforth, Danforth. Adam Danforth.
I'd really like to do a class on that where people could, where I could put it out and advertise it and be able to show people beginning to end.
Yeah.
Because it is a really good skill, but that's kind of hard to do. You'd have to team up with somebody.
Right.
We'll see if we can work on that. But
Okay.
even if it's just the small animals.
Yeah.
I think there's a farm up in Appomattox that they had chicken day. This was within my little circle, and they said, anybody wants to learn how to do it, come do it. Well, I don't know if anybody wants to go smell wet chickens. But it's the skill that you're learning.
Yeah.
And I don't think you get used to that smell, but it is not as bad as what it seems.
Sure.
Now, the first time it may be pretty stinky to you, but
Right.
it's really not. You put up with your wet dog, and you learn a skill here, butchering these chickens or hogs or whatever it is. So if you hear about one of these classes going on or somebody offers, go.
Yeah.
It's well worth it. Let's get back to actually, what do you do with the meat once you cut it up? Now, you can either freeze it, you can can a lot of this meat. We brown some of the meat, cube it up, and this is for deer meat, brown it, cube it up, and then put it in jars and can it. You can make sausage out of it or a hamburger out of it. We do a lot of that because it's easy for my wife to use. Put it in a pint jar, and when you go to make a meal, you pop it open, you throw it out there, and you add your veggies, and you're off and running, 10-minute meals.
Yeah.
That's pretty smart. When crap hits the fan, you may not have electricity. We keep hearing that a lot more.
Yeah.
I don't like to hear it more.
No, I don't either.
That means its possibilities are going up. So think about that. Drying meats like jerkies and that kind of thing. Now you got to be careful when you're drying any kind of meat or curing any kind of meat that's dry cured. There's definitely preservatives you must have. A potassium nitrate, which they call prog powder, and salt. Salt's a natural drying agent. It's been done for thousands of years.
Yeah.
It works. So, but you really need to know how to use these chemicals, especially potassium nitrate in higher concentrations. It'll make you sick. Take a big spoonful of it and you'll probably die because it's not good. But it only takes a very small amount of this stuff. It's not like your meat is, and anything that you buy at the store, lunch meat is full of nitrates. I mean,
Right.
absolutely full of nitrates.
Right.
In fact, too much. That's why it doesn't rot.
Yeah.
You're kind of like a Twinkie, But you really don't need to use that much if you're using salts. Now, everybody's scared of salts, but your body takes a lot of salt, and you get rid of a lot of salt, so don't panic over salt.
Yeah.
Salt curing, just like back to hams, there is a lot of things that you can do other than the ham. Capicola, that's the top of the neck. Now, that, if you cure that right, that's worth about $40 a pound now.
Wow.
Is
Holy
that
cow.
something else?
Yeah, it's wild.
Salamis and pepperonis and summer sausage, all of those are cured meats that have been ground and put into a casing. And those are, sometimes they're smoked, but they're all cured. They all have prog powder in them to keep them from rotting, really. But they still have to be kept cool, dry place, protected from bugs and whatnot. But that book covers all this.
Okay.
So it's well worth you getting these books so you do it safely. Get the most out of your deer that you can get, the most out of the hog or cattle that you're butchering. That's a good thing. If you can save money and get a good quality meat, it's just smart to do. Not all of our meat's coming into this country. We import quite a bit. We really don't know the quality of their butcher facilities. And if it's anything like what we think it is,
right,
you probably ought to be doing this yourself.
Right.
And we'll leave it there.
Okay. Well, Glenn, if anybody has any questions about butchering or any of the topics you've covered, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Just shoot me a question on Facebook. Just drop me a line saying that you like the show, you don't like the show, what can I improve on the show, or have an idea for a show. What do you need to know? What's your group doing? Let me know how you are doing. If you need help with something, there's a whole group of us that we can get you the good information. We've got a good herbalist that's been really working on me and my wife on doing some salves and that kind of thing. That's a new skill that I'm learning. No one can know it all, and she's my resource for that kind of things. But she says, you're going to learn some of this because I can't do it all. Well, that's the whole idea here, folks. It's a community of people that's sharing the information. Please do it.
So just type in Sustainable Living Made Easy on your Facebook search. And I just did it while we were talking there. And I just brought up your page, what appears to be your page, because it says Glenn Ballblitz as the group expert. So
Group expert. Yay.
Well, Glenn, thanks again. Also,
Thank you.
You can always text us at 434-248-0704. That's 434-248-0704, and reach out to Glenn that way. As usual, sir, thank you, and it was very educational.
Thank you.
Join us again next week for Sustainable Living with Glenn Ballblitz, helping you be prepared and not scared. This podcast drops every Friday anywhere you get your podcast.